Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the Naboo Starfighter, the N1 Starfighter from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now before we even get to the model, I think the N1 is just a cool spaceship. George Lucas always wanted to give modelers and people who geeked out about the starfighters and starships something new in every single movie. So he really made a point to do a different hero ship for every one of the 6 movies he got to do. And in the Phantom Menace, we got this, the N1 Naboo Starfighter. And of course, this is a re-release of the model kit that came out back in 1999 when the movie The Phantom Menace came out. Now, the N1 and the entire aesthetic of the Phantom Menace is supposed to be the Republic before the Empire takes over. So the Naboo N1 Starfighter should be chrome. It should be a very clean yellow. It's not weathered. It's not beat up. This is really the Royal Guards Starfighters. And outside of just being a cool starship design, the N1 Starfighter is part of my favorite story about video games. If you remember, back when the movie came out, the Nintendo 64 was the biggest platform, and the coolest Star Wars game really ever was Rogue Squadron, where you got to pilot X-Wings and fighters and all the ships from Star Wars, and dogfights, target missions, flying that mission through the Death Star Trench. And they had kind of Easter egg ships. And that's where the N1 comes in, because Rogue Squadron came out before the Phantom Menace did. LucasArts really wanted that Naboo Starfighter, but they didn't want to spoil anything in the movie, even a ship design. So they took a pretty big gamble. They hid all the files for the N1 Starfighter in the video game and gave you no way to access them except for a cheat code. They released the game and held their breath that nobody would stumble upon the hidden starship until the movie came out. And it worked. The movie came out, nobody had found the Starfighter, so they actually released the cheat code in Nintendo Power, the old fan magazine that they would actually mail out to your home. And that's when everybody found out that there was a hidden ship from Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, in the video game that people already had at their homes. It was probably the best kept secret in video gaming history. All right, forgive me for that little digression. Let's take a look at this. So we get some really wonderful art of the Starfighter, of Anakin having blown up the droid control ship. It's a fairly small box, so I think it's a small model. And of course, we get a wonderful decal sheet to decal R2-D2, add some markings to the Starfighter. Really the same art along the sides. Some pictures of the model itself, nicely weathered and detailed and painted. And then along the back, we have just the decal guide along the back. It's silver, it's yellow, authentic plastic model kit. And achieve a weathering look by applying charcoal dust or diluted black paint. Let's take a look at the plastic. So looking at the plastic, we start off with some very nicely molded in yellow parts. Very nice, very glossy, a very nice yellow. And that's the main fuselage of the ship. Here are some nice engine parts, once again done in yellow. Here is our Anakin, and of course he's not supposed to be yellow, so we'll probably throw a little bit of paint on him. But yeah, nice, simple yellow parts. You also get a giant yellow stand, which of course I'll be painting black. You know, there's a bit of a texture on this. This is not smooth or glossy. This is a little bit rough on the top there. We get 2 clear parts, so we get a very nicely transparent cockpit glass. We also get a clear arm for the stand so that, you know, the ship looks more like it's just suspended in air. All right, and outside of the yellow parts, we get some very, very shiny, glossy, reflective chrome parts Oh, that's really nice. And that actually gives me a little bit of a dilemma on how to build this. Part of me really wants to take this advice, suitable for the beginner modeler, easy snap together assembly, and it may be painted to match illustration. Part of me just wants to snap it together so you get to keep this wonderful chrome, keep the yellow. Personally, I really dislike unpainted plastic, even if it's done in the right color, because plastic just looks like plastic if it's unpainted. It's always just slightly translucent, which makes it just look a little bit soft. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it yellow, just the yellow parts, repaint them yellow so that it's no longer this plastic translucence. It'll have a better finish. And then I'm going to snap it together with the chrome. I'm not going to do much else to kind of capture that beginner model or feeling. And then we'll look at the model the way it might look if a total novice builds it off the shelf at Walmart. Just to snap it together, add the chrome on, decal it, and we'll see how it looks. All right, now there is some assembly I'm able to do before I repaint this to be a better yellow. And it's pretty typical for snap tight construction. Pretty much this needle that goes on the very end gets sandwiched between these two parts. You can see that right there, how it's sandwiched in between. And then those two, once they're a nice little cone, they sit in right here. You can see there's a little notch, so it ends up oriented the right way. Once that's in, you will sandwich it in between the main part and this little cap, and that will hold everything in place. I am still gluing it just because it's unpainted, and why not glue it? But this little assembly, pretty easy to do. So I'm not sure how much it shows, but here we have our painted plastic, and here we have our unpainted plastic. You know, the letters on the stand are really raised pretty high, which means we can cheat and wet sand off the black paint to reveal its original yellow color. And keeping in mind that this would be a great kit for a beginner with its molded in colors, this is just a really quick and easy thing that a beginner modeler could try. Okay, I'll keep going on that, but you can see quick, easy, just a 3-4 minute job. Just clear the black paint off of those raised letters, and we should have a nicely done stand with yellow letters and a black background. All right, let's do our little snap assembly. So our clear part of the stand goes into the base. All right, we're going to take our main fuselage. We've added in our little Anakin Skywalker figure, and we're going to snap it to our largest chrome piece. We take our engine assembly, add the chrome part to it. After that, we're going to snap on our engine assembly. So you can see there are 2 tabs just on the back. They're going to fit into these 2 holes, and push the front down to snap it together. From here, we're simply going to add in these front two chrome parts for our front two engines. Snap those together. After that, we have two halves that fit together for R2-D2's head. And then he'll just snap into his droid port right back here. All right, last part is just the cockpit glass that snaps on just in back and push down in front. All right, and that is assembly done for our Naboo N1 Starfighter. All right, so let's look at this for a moment, because this is absolutely the job a beginner modeler could do on this just in an afternoon or a weekend. Remember, you don't have to paint that yellow. It's molded in a wonderful color. Painting Anakin's probably the toughest part, but painting that cockpit, just a contrasting color, is pretty easy. The chrome looks great. Now, the reason why an advanced modeler might want to strip the chrome off of those parts and paint the chrome parts is because the chrome is missing where you take it off the sprue. So you can just see where the sprue attached, it is not chrome. So you've got a piece here, a piece here. I believe there's a part on R2-D2. Let's see if I can find it. Right there on R2-D2, there is a part where it came off the sprue where it's not chromed. So if those little imperfections bother you, you'll want to strip the chrome off, paint it yourself, and then an advanced modeler will definitely want to glue it so that you don't have these little seams where the snap tag is just not holding together as well as it should. There it goes. All right, you can see on this side, an advanced modeler might want to fill in this tiny little gap, sand it smooth, then paint their own silver instead of the chrome. But I think that chrome is very well done, very clean, very nice. So I might leave mine like this. We have a very simple decal sheet, just doing some of the markings and some to decal R2. Now, a lot of times when a model kit says they're molded in color and it tells you you don't really need to paint it, a lot of times that's really not true. You end up with something that doesn't really look like the subject. And I think that's why I appreciate this kit being done with the yellow and with the chrome, that really you don't need to paint it, or just a little bit of minimum painting. So you can see I painted Anakin in the cockpit here. But a beginner modeler could really take this kit, assemble it, and have a good looking model that looks like the N1 Starfighter. And I like the subject. I really think that for a flight wing assigned to the Royal Palace to escort royal ships, they look clean and bright like this. I know you can weather it to make it more realistic, but an N1 Starfighter is supposed to be shiny and bright and new, and I think that's what this model kit achieves with this wonderful chrome, and you could just leave it in the yellow plastic. And I think I really do appreciate models being put out there that somebody could buy off the shelf of a big box store, or a model kit that they could give in as a gift to somebody who doesn't have modeling supplies to kind of start their collection. Do I think that most of you will build the N1 as simply as this? I don't think so. I think if you're watching YouTube videos about model kits, you're going to probably strip the chrome so you can kind of avoid those little divots right there. You will probably glue it together. You will probably do a bit more seam work. You'll paint it, you'll weather it, and you'll make it look incredible. But I think this model kit, better than most, fulfills the actual promise of a snap kit, that this could be built without much paint, without glue, and look good on a shelf. And I think that is something that's needed every once in a while in the modeling community. So, and just for kicks, here is our other model kit from the Phantom Menace. Here's our other Anakin Skywalker vehicle for that movie. the Pod Racer. You can see these two are pretty much in scale. The two figures and cockpits end up being about the same size. Vastly different subjects, though. I think for advanced modelers, the Pod Racer, much more fun to really, on this one, you have to get into the crazy weathering and detailing to make this one look good. And yeah, you know, it's kind of cool comparison here. Royal Fighter from Naboo, opulent, extravagant, super clean, and something built by a junkyard slave in the backwaters of the galaxy. Two very different model kits. This one definitely more advanced. This one able to be done by a beginner. But wonderful additions to your Star Wars model line. And once again, I just have to say, I love things that actually do what they set out to do. So if you set out to make a snap-tight kit molded in color where you say it's suitable for the beginner modeler, this does that. And I really appreciate that. I also appreciate Round 2 and AMT for letting me work on this review copy. And I appreciate all of you guys following the channel and watching the builds. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for following the channel. Thanks for following on Facebook and at the allscaletrek.com forums. We'll be back soon.